SB19 is not a trend, they're a long-term industry shift. Trends fade. SB19 didn't. While others exploded overnight and disappeared just as fast, they were quietly building something deeper. They were doubted, underestimated, labeled temporary, a moment, not a movement. Viral views came and went, but SB19 kept standing. Because what powered them was never hype. It was structure. Discipline. Vision. Most people think success is noise. But real impact moves silently. And right now, something bigger is happening beneath the surface. This isn't popularity rising, it's transformation taking shape. And the reason SB19 still stands, is the reason the industry is quietly changing. If you're ready to understand what most people still don't, like, subscribe, and stay with us. Most people measure success by what's loud, trending hashtags, viral clips, overnight numbers. That's why SB19 is often misunderstood. Their rise wasn't built on moments designed to shock the algorithm. It was built on consistency that doesn't always scream for attention. Outsiders kept waiting for their decline because they assumed SB19 followed the same cycle as others: spike, peak, fade. But that never happened. Because fame is visibility, and visibility can disappear. Infrastructure is different. It's systems, skills, and sustainability working quietly behind the scenes. SB19 operates on that deeper layer. While many watched views, they were building foundations. And foundations don't collapse just because the noise fades. SB19 didn't enter the industry with privilege, they entered it with preparation. There was no major label boost waiting to lift them, no shortcut written into their story. Instead of chasing quick recognition, they studied how the system actually worked. They learned performance discipline, music production, branding, audience connection, and responsibility behind the spotlight. Every step was intentional. Every improvement calculated. They weren't trying to fit into the industry, they were trying to understand it. That's the difference. Beneficiaries depend on opportunity. Architects create it. SB19 didn't wait for doors to open. They learned how doors are built. And that mindset changed everything that followed. SB19 never built their music to chase what's popular for the moment. While trends demand instant reaction, their songs are designed for return, the kind you understand deeper with every listen. The lyrics aren't written for quick quotes or viral hooks, they're written to hold meaning. Emotion comes before algorithm. Story comes before strategy. That's why their music doesn't age quickly. As listeners grow, the songs grow with them, carrying different weight at different stages of life. Trends create spikes that disappear once the sound changes. SB19 chose something harder: emotional longevity. Because popularity can be borrowed for a moment. But connection, once formed, stays. Trends spike. Stories stay. What surprised the world wasn't just SB19's reach, it was how they reached it. They didn't dilute their Filipino identity to fit global expectations. There was no forced Western sound, no borrowed image to feel international. Instead, they stayed rooted. Language became expression, not limitation. Culture became presence, not obstacle. And somehow, that honesty traveled farther than imitation ever could. International fans didn't connect because they understood every word, they connected because they felt the emotion. The growth wasn't engineered. It was organic. One listener at a time. SB19 proved something rare in global music: you don't need to erase where you're from to be heard everywhere. Authenticity travels faster than translation. A'TIN is often misunderstood because they don't behave like typical online fandoms. They aren't built on constant noise or temporary hype. Shows inconsistency, showing up quietly, repeatedly, even when nothing is trending. This community wasn't formed by viral moments alone, but by shared belief in growth. Fans didn't just watch SB19 rise, they evolved alongside them. As the artists matured, so did the audience. That's why the support feels steady, not explosive. Loyalty like this isn't reactive, it's intentional. It lasts because it's rooted in understanding, not obsession. A'TIN doesn't follow blindly. They invest emotionally, thoughtfully. And that intelligence is what gives the fandom its real power. The most powerful move SB19 ever made wasn't on stage, it was behind the scenes. Ownership changed everything. Creative control meant they weren't waiting for permission to express who they were. Business awareness meant decisions were made for longevity, not momentary applause. Independence gave them something most artists never touch: direction. When you control your work, your timing, and your growth, success stops being fragile. It becomes stable. This is why SB19 didn't burn out after visibility peaked. They weren't renting their careers from the industry, they were building them. Because trends offer attention, but only temporarily. Ownership does something deeper. Trends rent success. Ownership builds careers. Most idle careers follow a familiar pattern: breakout, explosion, exhaustion, then silence. The industry often mistakes intensity for longevity. SB19 chose a different path. Instead of chasing constant visibility, they stabilized. They learned when to step forward and when to pull back. Growth became measured, not chaotic. This wasn't absence, it was control. Strategic silence protected creativity, health, and direction. While others burned out trying to stay everywhere, SB19 focused on staying intact. Sustainability replaced urgency. Progress replaced pressure. That's why the "they already peaked" narrative never landed. Because peaks collapse when they're built too fast. SB19 wasn't climbing for applause. They were building something meant to stand. Longevity isn't loud, it's calculated. The industry may not say it out loud, but it's paying attention. Agencies are watching what independence can produce when paired with discipline. Artists are studying self-production, creative input, and long-term control more seriously than ever. SB19's journey shifted the conversation from who launches you, to how much of yourself you own. A new generation is observing closely, realizing that success doesn't require surrendering identity. It requires understanding structure. SB19 has become a reference point, not through dominance, but through example. Not a rulebook, a possibility. And that's how real change spreads. Quietly. Gradually. One career at a time. 10 years from now, SB19 won't be defined by the word idle. They're already moving beyond it. Their future isn't limited to stages, it expands into production, mentorship, leadership, and creative direction. What they're building now allows evolution without disappearance. Cultural representation becomes legacy, not trend. Their brand isn't frozen in one era, it's designed to grow. And that's why constant visibility isn't required. Relevance doesn't come from being everywhere, it comes from meaning something. When artists understand their purpose, time stops working against them. It starts working with them. Trends chase attention. SB19 built structure. Popularity rises and falls, but systems endure. That's the difference most people miss. Their story was never about dominating timelines or winning moments, it was about evolution. While noise demanded urgency, they chose patience. While hype faded, foundation remained. This isn't a tale of survival. It's proof of intention. SB19 is not a trend the industry survived. They're a shift the industry is still adjusting to. And if you understand this now, you're already ahead of the conversation.